Hey everybody, today we're going to be making a very simple tavern bread. I love this bread. I make this bread a couple of times a year. It's delicious. I actually found this recipe. It's a very old recipe that I found in an old journal that was in a small cave outside of Brutes Bay. It was guarded by two king crabs, both of which had knives. They fought me until they thought I was worthy of receiving the recipe. And then they came here to live with me. So I have crabs, and I'm okay with that. So this is the recipe for the tavern bread that I like. 2 packets of dry active yeast and a cup of warm water. I always dissolve my yeast in the warm water first. I always find I get better results with that. I let it sit before I start mixing everything up. 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of salt, cup of lukewarm milk. We're going to substitute oat milk because my wife likes to eat my bread and she's a vegan. 1/4 cup of molasses, 1/4 cup of wheat germ, 1/4 cup of 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I also like to add sunflower kernels and seeds. I add a bunch of different seeds to it because I think it's those seeds that kind of make it taste like it's a tavern bread. Like it's, something you'd sit next to a fire and listen to a bard. And along with this molasses wheat bread, we're also going to be making up some honey butter. So I'm going to be showing you how to mix that up too. So I'm going to add all those ingredients and just make the ball, and I'll show you what the ball looks like. Just going to show you real quick what the dough looks like when it's made. We are going to make this into one nice big ball, and then we're going to let it rise. We're going to let it rise until it's about twice its size. And when it's twice its size, we're going to pound it out again. Then we're going to put it down into the bread pans and let it rise again. So this is a double riser, guys. If you can't get it to rise twice, you're doing it wrong. All right, for anybody out there who didn't believe it, Captain Jack is a grower, not a shower. That is at least double. So what we're going to do now is we're going to knead it out again. You're going to pound it all the way down. You want to pound it really good, get it nice and flat, and then you're going to put it into bowls to let it rise again. Now, I've often heard you got to put it in bowls, let it rise again. I've always skipped that part. I've always let it rise right in my bread pans. I have 2. One's a little bit smaller, one's a little bit bigger. But I find that for this recipe, it works perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull this beautiful, beautiful bread out. I'm going to give it a nice long knead. It's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to get all the air bubbles out. Then I'm going to put them in my pans. I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'm going to let them rise. All right, so I got them banged down. It took about 5 minutes, and as you can see, that's my nice even loaf there. Got another nice one right there. Once again, you're going to let these rise twice, because these are what? Growers, not showers. So we're going to put these over the fireplace. We're going to let them rise for about another 4 hours or so. I might throw a few more seeds on top just because I like those seeds. And we'll see where we're at. All right, as you can see, doubled in size again. Twice in one day, they have risen to twice their normal size. That's why it's my secret recipe. But as you can see from the very top, you can see I added a few more nuts just on the top. Those are pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I think it gives that really great nutty taste. It kind of screams like homemade bread or like a tavern bread. We're gonna pop these in the oven. They go in for 40 minutes at 375. Some people will say that's too low for bread. I think it's perfect. I always get a nice crust on the outside, soft in the middle, just the way you want it. So we're gonna pop them in. The smaller one will probably take a little bit less. I'm gonna set the timer for 35 minutes, but I think it's gonna take about at least 45 minutes for the big one. All right, no 2 ways about it. These are some lovely breads. That is Tavern Bread 1, much bigger than my bean. Look at that, I could hide in shadows behind this thing. It's still light. It's still fluffy. Here's number 2. Now, the smaller one. Now to show you what the inside looks like, I'm gonna make the ultimate sacrifice and cut a piece off for myself. Oh, I wish you could smell the molasses coming out of this. It smells so good. Oh, look at that. Look at that nice, look at that steam coming up. Look at that. Beautiful, nice crust. Little crushed on the outside. Sweet and fluffy on the inside. But wait, we're gonna add one more thing. Gonna make a little honey butter. All right, so a little side of this is just honey butter, butter and honey. Can't get much easier than that. But boy, I tell you, when you whip those two together, it makes something magical. Now we're really gonna enjoy it. I'll bet you a little bit of this. This bread is still steamy hot. Oh, so it just melts it in there. It's gonna be a real treat. Hold on. This is the Jack Butters His Own Bread podcast. You can also find that on my OnlyFans. Hold on. All right. You can see how that crust has some bite to it. The honey butter is surreal. This is a really good tavern bread. Sit down with some sliced apples, some sausages, and you'll think you're in any tavern in any D&D setting you've ever been in your life. Honey butter, molasses, homemade bread. You're welcome, planet.